My name is LaVonne, and my daughter's name is Kiva Deja Wells, and she was born in 1999, and she was 3 weeks early. And I had other pregnancies prior to her, and I've never had an early birth, and I've never had a carrying of a child and a birth of a child the way I did with her as well. When she was born, they basically said, we need to get her out of you right now. Her heart rate is lowering rather quickly, so we're really concerned. And she was born, and they gave her to me, and I remember the doctor, and this is really interesting, but she remembers, she's like, let me get the afterbirth. And when she went in to get the afterbirth, it crumbled in her hand. So from the very beginning, Kiva has been that wise soul, spirit itself, where it's like, get me out of here. I'm going to be here for a little bit, but I need you to get me out of here so I can live. And hence the 3 weeks early. And at that time, we didn't know what it was. And all we know is that she had this pigmentation on her body. They call them cafe au latte pigmentation. And they rushed her off to Primary Children's Hospital because of the heart rate. The issue was something wrong with her heart. We need to observe her, put her in the NICU, put her in the intensive care unit. Let's just observe her. And then about 2 days later, I was able to go and be with her. And so I was a mystery. I didn't know what was going on. A doctor happened to walk past her bed and say, hey, I've seen this before. He was talking about the cafe au latte pigmentation on her body. And so he reached out to NIH, National Institute of Health, and they basically said, we want you to look for A, B, and C. They found A, B, and C in almost the entire alphabet and decided that they were going to study her and find out all that they can find out about her, because she had what is called a McCune-Albright syndrome. So a whole endocrine system was fighting against itself. And these cafe au latte pigmentations were the different cells indicating their presence within her being and her body, biologically. And so she had every specialist that you can think of, the cardiologist, the pulmonary doctors, the kidney doctor, all the endocrine. And she was born about 5 pounds, and she stayed that way for a very long time. And basically her body began to shut down. We were in and out of the hospital quite a bit, and she went into cardiac arrest a couple of times. And the last time that she was in the hospital, they had her at this point in time in the PICU, which is a little bit older children, and she was 5 months. And there's no cure for McCune-Albright syndrome. However, they've had a lot of cases come through the hospital, but they did not know that it was McCune-Albright syndrome. So her being there, they were able to discover and learn so much of these newborn babies that were coming through with it. And they would come through with maybe just A, B, and C, or maybe 4 or 5 of the symptoms. But they were able to assist other babies because of the study with Kiva. So a lot happened, a lot transpired. I remember going to the hospital, being there wee hours of the morning. And I just remember always having one foot in this world and one foot in the other world, because as she was transitioning, as her mother, I was transitioning with her. And so a lot of my friends pulled me back, because I would just be talking to them and then turn to my left, there's nobody there, and I'm talking to them, and they're like, there's nobody there, who are you talking to? And so, and that's one of the experiences that I share with people, is that a lot of times I get it when it comes to people losing loved ones and feeling like they're outside of themselves. It literally feels as though I was trying my best to be a good mom and stay grounded here physically, and yet I was being carried off every time that she would come in and out of her awareness, her body. I was going there with her. And I remember going home one morning. Usually I get home 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting down on top of my bed and just about to lay my head down, and in came this immense amount of light. Because at this point in time, I was the mom. I was going to have the faith. I was going to hold the faith. She was going to be healed. At that time, I was a Reiki master, and I had come from so many different backgrounds of healing. And I just knew that it was possible. And so if anyone came in the room and was negative, even the doctors, I'd kick them out. I was like, no, I need faith. I need believers in here. And I remember going home that morning and the room filling up with light. And I say, a group that came into the room, into my bedroom, and they were speaking in one accord, in one voice. And they explained to me and they said, we know that you believe, we know that you have faith, but she's going to leave. She's actually stayed longer than she was supposed to. She came here for you, and she came here for many other different things, and one was mastering her physicality. And at this point in time, she's 5 months old and she's 7 pounds. And they basically said she is going to leave. And the reason why it hurts so much and the reason why it's so difficult is because as a mother and as a child, your hearts are linked. Your hearts are one. And she doesn't want to leave you now. She knew she was going to come and leave, but now that she's here, she doesn't want to leave your side. And that gave me a lot of hope. But at the same time, it was a bittersweet experience. I can't deny the experience. I wasn't even asleep. And but it also filled me up with so much appreciation and gratitude that I had the opportunity to say and to hear them say to me, it's okay to let go, Mama. It's okay to let her go. And now we're going to need you to show up for her in a different way, in a different capacity. And then a couple of nights later, when I was in the dream state, she came to me. At this point in time, she was on life support. And she came to me and said, Mom, be my voice. I'm ready to go. And you see, all of this just was like a fine-tuned orchestra, everything lined up. And when I went into the hospital, the doctor that was on said, what do you want me to do? It's my week. I'm here for you. She's on 17 medications. None of them is a cure. They're only suppressing things. There is no cure for this. What do you want to do? And I said, I want her off life support. I want her off all the medication, and I want to hold her. And we met with the ethics board, and they all agreed it was more humane to release her and let her go. At this point in time, she's on morphine. Again, 5 months, 7 pounds on morphine. There's nothing they can do for her. Everything's shutting down. And so they gave the green light and said, let's do this for Kiva. And I was able, they took her off life support, and I was able to hold her for an hour. And it felt like 5 minutes. She took 3 deep breaths. And she left from the crown of her head. How do I know? Because I was holding her, and this blaze of light came out of the crown of her head, and immediately she was standing beside me. And the last part of this story I wish to share, because I think it's, well, I know it's pretty profound. There was someone else in the room with me, and he was to the right of me, and he asked me, did you feel that? And I said, absolutely. So he had felt the heat coming from the crown of her head as well. And I remember putting her back into the bed, observing, watching, looking, thinking, this is not my little girl, but this is the body that she brought through to master whatever it is to master, and to show Mama to get on her path. Because she basically opened up my life's work and my life path for me. And I remember walking out of her bedroom, and I heard this voice as I got to the elevator, and it said, wait for me, I'm coming with you. My friend was with me. I thought, if I say something to her, this was another gal that was in the room. If I say something to her, she's going to think I'm nuts. We get into the elevator, she just looks over at me and says, did you hear that? So Kiva had spoken to her as well. And the rest is a lot of stories and a lot of miracles and a lot of conversations. And that's what I have about my experience with my little girl.